Hey guys, welcome to 6 Voices, a brand new 6 Happening podcast. So far, we've just been displaying our writing on our blog. Here, we'll be discussing various topics regarding the largest city in Canada and showcasing our unique personalities. We look forward to bringing listeners our viewpoints on all topics surrounding the Six. At times, there will be guest speakers as well, so be sure to tune into each episode whenever possible. Looking forward to bringing you guys nothing but the best 6 Happening content for years to come.
Welcome here with my buddy Vic, and we have a guest speaker as well today. His name is Maurice. Introduce yourself, buddy.
Hello, what's going on? My name is Maurice. I'm here to join the chat tonight.
Yes, Maurice is an old buddy from George Brown. We went to college with me and Victor, so it's nice to have him on today, and we'll be chatting.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So, Maurice, how you been, man? What's up?
Been doing pretty good, man. Just learning how to cook, chilling at home every day. You know, nothing special. Just trying to stay safe. You know, dealing with all the frustrations.
Yeah, crazy times. Crazy times we're living in right now.
I know. How about you? How you guys been holding up?
I've been good, man. It's just kind of like, you know, it's a little bit hectic, everything, right? Because you don't know what you can do, what you can't. Like, it's a little bit like you're confused about everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you mean like with like going to stores and stuff like that?
Yeah, going to stores, like who you can see, who you can't, when you're supposed to be out, when not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a frustrating thing. I've just kind of limited it to nobody, so I've just kind of like avoided the other end.
Yeah. Vic, same thing for you?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been kind of socializing, I guess, here or there, but mainly just seeing my family and stuff like that. You know, like it's kind of weird to take in because like it's kind of two messages that I see that are being sent. It's like the message that you hear on like media or the news or whatever. It's like, oh, be careful, stay inside. But it's like when I go outside, there's people walking their dog, they're going to work, they're going to shoppers, they're doing their shit, and it's just like it just makes you think, you know, it's like life goes on regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And going into the stores, you notice that a lot of people are not really social distancing anymore. Like people are like standing right behind you in the grocery aisles, and they're talking to you with their masks sliding off of their face.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I can speak to that, right, because I work in a store, so I can see it all the time. Like, it's hard to actually enforce that, because you're supposed to be 6 feet, but you can't really be 6 feet with, like, if it's packed in there, and, like, people just want to get their things and go, you know, everyone's in, like, in a hurry, right? The problem is people aren't patient anymore. Like, they want to just, like, they want to get their own thing, and, yeah, they don't care about others, you know what I mean? That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a blessing for me, man, because, like, now I've been able to, like, access services where I actually don't have to speak to anybody. They just go, they bring me my shit, and I go and I bring it up to my door. And it's just, like, I pay a little fee, but I find that every time I go in person to a supermarket, there's, like, some kind of, like, drama brewing. Because everybody's, like, stressed, and, like, you know what? I really think it's just people do that to kind of unwind and see other human beings, and they're kind of cranky, it's just like, okay.
I mean, Vic, you know about that. I mean, you almost fought a lady last time, right? So.
Oh, dude, I don't know what came over me.
Story.
I don't know what the hell came over me that day. It was just like, I'm talking with my father, I'm waiting at a line in Food Basics. My mother's gonna come, and we're right at the door. She's like a minute away, and this little, like, I don't know, this woman or whatever comes up and is just like, you know, you can't butt in line, right? And I'm just like, listen, I'm not here to talk to you. If you want to go ahead, just say that, right? I'm not here to waste my life with you. And she just like, oh, and people started staring at me, and she just kind of stood there. And I'm like, okay, thank you, bye. But I fucking flipped out on her, and I thought, after the fact, I'm just like, man, it's like it's a short-term payoff, but then it's like long-term is like, oh man, you feel bad. Why'd I go off? It was a stranger, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Maurice, do you have any stories like that? Like where people are giving you a hard time for stuff like this during this, or no?
Honestly, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have any stories because, like, just like Victor, I've been like doing a lot of grocery gateway and a lot of Uber Eats. And when I do go to the stores, like if like a Metro or a No Frills opens at 7, I'm there at 7.
Oh,
so
excellent.
I'm seeing I'm seeing like 1 or 2 people in the store all the time. Like if it's like 12, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not going. Yeah, I can't deal with the crowds, and that kind of stuff is definitely bound to happen on a daily basis anywhere you go. Because like people are just really upset right now and just mad at the world, and they just want to take that chance to let it out on someone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Vic.
No, it's so true. It's just like, honestly, throughout everything, I've probably had like 2 instances of people just trying to start shit with me. Like, shaking their finger at me, and I just have to tell them, like, listen, you don't know me, I don't know you. This is where you walk away. I'm just like, fuck. Well, what are you gonna do, man?
What's crazy about that as well is just like, normally these people would be calm, right? But because of the situation, you don't know what else is going on in their life. Everything's built up, right? And they just explode on you. Literally. So, no, but I mean, it's good not to have stories, Maurice. I mean, like, that's been
no, that's a good thing.
Been avoiding those kind of things. You don't go when it's rush hour shopping, right? So it's good.
Yeah, like the only thing that I could think of is I was in a store, and you know, in the stores they have arrows on which way you should be going. I ended up going the wrong way, and this lady's like, "Oh, you know, you're going the wrong direction." And I just kind of looked at her, and I just kept walking because there was like nobody in the store. So I get what you're saying, Victor. Like people are just triggered to say something to people normally where they would just go about their business, but now they just want to engage in it and start an argument with someone.
Yeah, I'm just glad there's no like. My stories don't end with like throwing hands or police, and it's just like, yeah, man, I really dodged the bullet there.
Well, Victor, how about in George Brown days? Would they have ended like that or no?
Oh fuck!
After a Gabby's chicken wing beer run or what?
No, they'd be catching the chicken wing, man.
But I ended a little differently.
Oh man. No, but you know what? It's a good thing that like you're a little bit more mature. You can handle yourself better, right? Because imagine some people just fly off the handle, right? Like no matter how old or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I have one example even at my store, like where I work. Like it's kind of like we have a policy that you have to wear your mask, right? Like I guess that's everywhere now, right? So this guy, he has his mask on and it's like on his chin, right? So I mean, you're not really wearing it if you have it like that, right? It's on your chin, like his mouth and his nose are exposed. So I told him, please, sir, can you cover your mouth and your nose with your mask? So the dude walks away, he comes back, and then where I was standing, I was talking to another customer, he starts coughing. Like on purpose, right there. He's like, oh, I don't have anything, I'm just to show you. I'm like, so you're, like, that's how you handle it? You come and you cough on us? Like, when I told you to do that? So we have to kick him out. I mean, we have no choice, right?
You can't write this shit, man.
So stupid, man.
You know what I mean? It's like just you almost feel like punching him.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know if you guys know, you seen, like you were talking about that, Vic, like those protests. What do you think of those protests out there? Like those police versus those people not wanting to wear masks?
Dude, one of them was right on my street, and they're just like,
yeah, because you live right downtown.
No more lockdown, no more. I'm just like, I was so tempted just to freaking like sprint to my balcony and just tell them, shut up, no one cares.
I mean, you can do that through your balcony. They're not gonna find you.
I was just like, no, I don't want to put that out to the world. I'll just stand there and shake my head like everyone else, man.
Did you get a chance to see that, Maurice? Those protests on the news or whatever?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of like news clips of it, but I just think a lot of the people that are going to these protests are just really bored, and they just have nothing else better to do.
Yeah, Yeah, that's the energy that I get from them. And I remember I saw a day I was gonna meet up with Matthew. There was a Trump rally going south on Yonge from Wellesley, but they were just like playing music and dancing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, make immune systems great again." I'm just like, "Oh my god."
Wow, in Toronto.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you doing?
You're in the wrong country.
Yeah. It was so surreal. I'm trying to film it, but it's just like I'm ruining it by laughing in the background, and oh my god.
Because they're all very, like, they're all, sorry to say, but a lot of them are very, like, they're out of touch, you know, with what's going on. So, yeah, it's a little crazy to see. Like, for me, it's kind of like, okay, let's say you feel that way. You feel like, okay, we shouldn't be doing this or whatever, right? You have to respect the fact that other people may not feel like that and that, like, they actually think this is serious. For me, I just see those people as selfish, man. Like, they just want their things and nobody to stop them, you know, and they probably never had to stop anything or have some kind of, like, disturbance in their life other than this, you know, because a lot of those people, this is not, like, poor people, some of them, right? Some of these people are, like, entitled people, right? So, you kind of, like, yeah, you're like the rest of us. You gotta wait till everything opens.
Yeah, but like everything that I heard, like they just didn't really have a point. Like, what is
Right?
your point for not wanting to wear a mask? Like, give us a point, have a conversation with people that want to save lives, and then maybe people will listen to you.
Yeah, they're just out there. I don't want to.
I was just thinking to myself, man, would it be mean to say like upper working class has a point? It's like, what is your point?
That video I sent you, Vic, where I don't know if you saw it, was like of the protest. The police were pushing this guy along who was like he was walking his bike, and then he's like, why are you pushing me? Don't push me. What's your problem? In my head, I'm thinking maybe you're in the way and you're trying to get the hell out of there. So maybe move, like, you know what I mean? So they're doing something wrong, and then the police acts, and it's like, oh, police brutality, don't touch me, you're abusing me or something, you know? And don't even get me started on women. I'm sorry about that too. You touch one girl, it's like, rape. I'm a woman. You can't touch me like that. Or, you know, he's not even touching you like that. I see that on my store too. But yeah, man, it's tough times, man. But you know what I think it is? It's just like the frustration, like you said, Maurice. It's boiling over, and people are just like, you know, like, I gotta get mad at somebody, even though I don't know this person. And there's no reason for me to be getting mad at them, you know?
Oh, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. Depression is very high right now.
I mean, Vic would know about that. You work in like a place where there's lots of that, right?
Yeah, honestly, like I see it in the field, but I've also had a bit of a journey on that front myself, where I can kind of understand things a little better from the other side. And like, I don't know, I find this whole pandemic time was a time gifted to everybody to get their shit in order. Just to be like, okay, what are my biggest injustices? You know, what's really pissing me off? What's offending me? What do I want to do about it? Where am I going? Stuff like that. Right? And I've had the privilege to be able to sit down and reflect on, like, you know, what I want to do, and not have to worry about, you know, can I work during pandemic, right?
Yeah, you've been lucky that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
What do you guys think of all these, like, well, I guess it ties into everything that we're talking about, but like all these like the people enforcing this, you know, like going to every business, giving fines, giving tickets. I heard that article, I don't know if you guys saw it, it's like they caught 51 places or whatever and gave them fines and like all these.
Oh, was it the blog TO one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really wondering, how do they go about enforcing it? Like, are some of these guys driving around in unmarked cars? Are they riding bikes or something like that? Like, how are they able to figure out which businesses are open? Like, I know that there's going to be people that will call in and tip them off, but it's difficult. Like, a lot of the salons, they can like leave their lights off and still have the business going in the back or the basement or something. It's so tough to enforce all this stuff. With restaurants, I guess it's easier.
Honestly, I would say it's all of the above. Everything of what you just said, I've I guess just where I am, I've been able to see all kinds of stuff, and like everything that you said they're doing actually. You know, they got more cruisers, they got more like bikes, officers, whatever, you know, and they're really combing the streets. Like here after what is it, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., you hear a cop car going by like every hour.
You know what the crazy thing is too? Is like unrelated to that. Like, but you going by what you just said with the cop car. I have a friend, right, that is in another country, and they're going through this COVID thing too. They have a cop car going around the same thing, but they have a person talking through a megaphone, and they're like, "Stay in your homes. If we see you out, we're gonna give you a fine or worse." I don't want to find out what the worst is, so. For those people, I'm pretty sure it's like, you know, like I hope that's not happening here either, right? But you think they would go that far? Like to...
You know, that's crazy. There's gonna be COVID offenders, and they're gonna be the new people that got sent to jail for doing weed. They're gonna be that population. The jails are gonna fill up with a bunch of anti-maskers and anti-protesters. But like, I guess in terms of the specific patio stuff that they were talking about there,
you mean to open up?
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in in a lot of the acts that they made just last year, right? And then there's another one that they're going to be putting into place in the spring. The mayor said that I think around May they're going to start setting up the curbside patio again. So I think that's probably the best way to kind of meet them in the middle and give them a chance to, you know, fight for themselves, right? Like give these restaurants a chance to reopen and regain some losses, and you know.
Yeah, I honestly think like right now it's kind of like, we'll put it this way, right? Like usually in people's lives, like they have stuff to look forward to, right? So there's some kind of a holiday. Like if it's October, it's Halloween. If it's December, it's Christmas and New Year's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this time that we are right now, it's just winter, and you really have nothing to look forward to other than spring, which is still months away. You know what I mean? So to give that little bit of hope that we're gonna open the patios and we're gonna expand them, and it's gonna be, because I heard it's gonna be 2 months earlier in May, like you said, than last year. Last year was June or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's a good thing, right? People got that to look forward to, and they're like, okay, you know what, I can at least do that. It's going to be warm and stuff like that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing they're announcing it.
Yeah, but it's really tough on like the small business owners, because a friend of mine, she opened a restaurant, I think like just over about a year and a half ago. And
what area?
By Lakeshore, like Queens Quay area, and like during Super Bowl, she was telling me, for example, she made $10,000 on Super Bowl night.
Wow.
And on an average now, she's making like $1,000 a night. And I guess like averages are kind of ranging from like $1,000 to $5,000 on good nights. So then now she's down to $1,000, and then she had to like lay off half of her staff.
Wow.
So it's really tough, man. Like the government really needs to look at like finding ways to support these small businesses, because like so many stores are closing down. Like every day there's a store that closes down.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because it seems like these programs that they have, like that businesses can apply to, I think it's part of the Canada Revenue, but they did it in the form of like a benefit or a grant. So like these businesses apply, but like they can only get a finite amount. It's not like the government saying, hey, we're going to cover your costs for like 2 months, right? The same way people were getting CERB. So I figure there may be a lot of changes coming around the corner for this spring in terms of more stimulus. People just need to kind of sit tight for a bit, right? Because like there's new acts and laws and bills and stuff like that. They're being reviewed all the time, and it's just like, it's crazy. It's a click away. It's on the Ontario website, and you can see like every law, every act, and like how it's enforced. You know, that for me is the go-to website for anything that's like kind of like in the mixture or gray area of like law, civil liberties and stuff like that, right?
The problem is the people that you're trying to tell this to, like that aren't listening to this to just sit back are the same people out there in the protests right now because they want everything open right now and like at this exact moment. So if you try to explain or reason what you're saying to this right now, they don't listen. They just want everything open now and trying to be selfish, right? And in a way, you know what? There's some points, I don't know if these people make it or other people, that, you know, they're like you said, Maurice, they're closing down the small businesses and it sucks, right? Because some of the stores that close, there were one chain or like maybe one store, one location of that, and that's not going to open up ever again, right? It was like a small mom and pop shop, and that's not happening again. And, you know, you lost that forever, right? And that place had fans, had people that always went there, had like loyal customers or whatever, right? And then they still have like really big stores open, like Walmart or Costco, right? So like people are kind of like, what's going on here, right? Like you should close everything and then see what happens, right? And then on top of that, they're still allowing flights to come in here. I don't know what's going on, right? So it's a bit of a mixed up message, you know? I think I can see the frustration.
Yeah, I'm hearing about a lot of flights, people traveling, and it's not making any sense to me. Like, if people are allowed to travel, they should be taking tests before they go and when they come back, because how safe is it going to be on an airplane with air circulating amongst 150 people? What if one or two people have a positive test prior to going on the plane and no one knows that but that person?
I've heard stories where it's like the whole plane has it and they've had to turn them back or something, or like half the plane. Like, it doesn't even like how are they tracking that? You know, it's hard.
Yeah, and like on top of that, I just saw this latest post. I think it was from CBC on my phone. It was about Trudeau saying like, "Oh, any Canadians that are caught traveling for like non-essential reasons, they may end up stranded in their destination."
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
It's just like it's escalating quite a bit now. You know, like the article tries to soften it up. It's like, oh, you know, these are the stricter measures or stuff that the government was trying to avoid, but found itself with no choice. It's like, you travel, might as well just stay where you went.
Victor saw right through that article, you know, so they can't fool him.
Yeah.
Just imagine, we go to Cuba one day, all three of us, and we can't get back.
That's not too bad.
True.
I at this point, I would consider
for sure.
switching either like Chilean or Canadian citizenship, man. For my Cuban citizenship, stay there.
Victor, did you when that was going on in George Brown, when they all went to that trip, did you go with them?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I don't remember exactly who. Maurice, do you remember who went on that trip?
Most of the people.
I know it was like.
I'm trying to like think.
Maria
Yo, it's in your picture, bro.
What's that?
The people that went on the trip. I see it's like you. Yeah, Maria Jose, Lily, Anna.
Maria Coco.
Yeah, the usual suspects.
Expired something.
There were so many characters on that trip, man. Oh my gosh, man.
What was the Uruguayan lady? I forgot her name.
Oh, Lily.
Oh, Lillian.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. She was very outspoken.
Yeah.
And Sandy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all these people in years.
No,
She
George
messaged
Brown
me
crew.
on LinkedIn. She's like, "Hey, Matthew, how are you doing? Nice to see you on here." I was like, "Yeah, what's up after 6 years?"
What?
How's it going? You know? Nah, but no, man. It's just, anyways, back to the thing. Like, yeah, man, the patios, I hope they work out. You know, like the businesses and the restaurants, they're suffering. They need some kind of help, and hopefully, like starting it sooner in spring will help out in those months. You know, to cover some costs and stuff like that. What we really need though is this vaccine to start working eventually and like get to the general population. You know what I mean? So people can like actually feel a little bit like not so paranoid with people. Actually, yesterday I went with my brother to the corner store. We went to do some shopping, right, like around my area, and some lady didn't want to let us on the elevator. You know how there's like in our building where I live, there's usually like 2 or 3. I don't know how it is in yours, Victor.
Yeah.
But in my building, it's kind of like 2. You're allowed 2, and then not really. You can have 3, but most people just allow 2 on the elevator. They feel comfortable with that. So my brother tried to go on. She was by herself. And she was blocking the door. She's like, "No, take the other one. I feel scared." And we're like, "Yeah, we have masks on. It's okay.
Oh wow.
We won't be beside you." And she was like, "No," and she blocked the door till it closed. So we were like, okay. You know what I mean? So my
No.
brother comes up to me. He goes, if I was another person, I would have pushed her aside and went still in there, you know. Excuse me.
If that wasn't some little old lady.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man. But it's just all hope for the best, man. You know.
Definitely, man.
Victor, how's that apartment search going on? Was your
I found another place. Actually, it's closer to like Parliament ways, like Bloor and Parliament.
yeah?
It's not bad. The rent's, I guess it's average for what it is. It's a 1 bedroom with balcony, 25th floor. $14.50.
Oh, not bad.
Oh wow, I thought it would be more than that.
Yeah, I think it's just the area. But
So, like,
what's that?
what's around it though that makes it attractive?
It's close to the subway. It has like steps from a bus stop, food basics. It's like
Excellent.
it's in St. Jamestown, like around that area.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you moving? You moving with your roommate?
No, the roommate left. Now I'm just here in a freaking 2 bedroom condo.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Make sure when you go to that area, man, to carry your mace at night, okay?
Yeah, you know what? I heard about that too. I did a walk around of the area, and I was just like, okay, sketch.
Like, I don't know how close it is to that, but I've heard some stuff.
I just like the height because I find like, okay, it has a really good view. Well, not good. I would rate it more like 2 out of 3 out of 5.
Yeah. It's average.
But I think like the height really kind of takes away from all the noise and the fucking riffraff. Because like here it's nice, but like at night people like to come here and chill on like the fucking roundabout here, and they're so loud and I can hear them even from the 10th floor. I'm like, okay, I need the 20th floor then.
Yeah, you needed something a little more private, right? Like where you can kind of unwind.
Yeah, because like it's part of a decent cluster, you know, like it's okay. It's like an average apartment, but I'll keep looking around. But I think honestly, the magic number to like get a good deal is 1,500.
Excellent. What do you? What your area is? You're around me, aren't you, Maurice? Or where are you actually exactly?
Yeah. So I don't know if I told you. I actually moved out, man.
Oh, okay. No, not really. You didn't
Yeah,
tell me.
man. So I'm in Oshawa right now.
Oh, okay, awesome. So you're there now.
Yeah, I am out in Oshawa, man, because I had a situation like similar to Victor where, you know, I had a couple of like really rowdy neighbors and they unfortunately were right above my head, so I couldn't sleep at night.
That's why.
And like, yeah, even though it was like a pretty good neighborhood, I was like kind of closer to Bathurst and Wilson area.
Yeah. Oh, I think I remember that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was like nice and quiet, but yeah, like, it was just too much, man. Yeah, so definitely I'm in a better place out here, which is a lot better. I'm like on a main floor in a house, so I don't have to deal with having anyone running around above my head anymore.
Oh, excellent, man. That's good. At least you have peace and quiet. That's what everyone wants, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
true, man.
It's just a distance now. Like trying to carry back and forth to the city, but it's all right for now. Like I might start looking for a place later on in the year. I'm just kind of looking at like prices like Victor's looking right now, so I guess he'll be able to give me some pointers on areas to look. But I'm waiting until like summertime to start.
So Nick, you see that you guys can team up for that for sure. We can do a 6ixhappening condo search.
There you go, man.
Oh man, might as well just look for a 3 bedroom, man.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys seen that article. Like a lot of condos are up for sale now, like in different places. And from what I see here, just from looking at the article, a lot of them are like the ones that have got the most like on sale and out there is like Mimico, Yorkville areas, Morningside, Islington, Mount Pleasant, and even like around like downtown, like where you are, Victor. Regent Park, it just sort of says right here, St. Jamestown. There's a lot that have recently been out like the market, right?
Yeah, and prices haven't dropped, which is like surprising to me that, like, you know, in the middle of a pandemic that prices would not drop, because I'm thinking that people would want to get rid of these properties a little quicker than normally, so they would try to lower the prices to reel people in, but they're not.
Yeah. And like, what kind of area are you looking at? Like, Maurice. Like, is it like, or I mean, like, what do you like?
Anywhere that's close to Toronto, so like anywhere outside of Toronto. So I think
so like, are you talking about like? Yeah,
like
sorry. Go ahead.
Like even like Pickering, I would go to like maybe I think is it I can't remember the name of the area, but it's like just outside of Scarborough, like Rouge Valley area. I think
Oh, yeah, those areas are pretty.
We can go there. We can go to the beach around there.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like really developed there now.
Yeah, like Rouge Valley, Mimical Ways, those are the places that like I've been really eyeballing, man, because it's just like they're nice, man. They're quiet. The prices are way better because it's not downtown Toronto.
You know what? Like that's what I was gonna recommend to you, Maurice. That Etobicoke has a lot of nice neighborhoods, man, that are quiet.
I was just gonna say that, like
check that out.
And Etobicoke area is a pretty nice. Yeah, I used to hang out in the Mimico area quite a bit, and there's a lot of nice restaurants and stuff like that.
So you're known around there. If I ask, they know you.
Pretty much, man.
Hey.
It's so funny. There's this Italian restaurant that is on Robinsonville down there, and I used to go there all the time. And I believe it was in the news last year. I think September. When did it happen? I can't remember. But the owner of the restaurant was killed. It was in like a mob hit or something.
Oh, I heard about that. That was that one.
Do you remember that?
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
We were there like a couple of days before it actually happened.
Wow. So did you know the owner?
No, like he was a pretty nice guy. He would talk to people if you were like sitting down in the dining room. He'd ask you how your meal was and just kind of have small talk with you.
Yeah, man. Say no to crime, man. You know what I mean? But no, Etobicoke is nice, man. Especially I have Victor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Angel that came with us. Remember?
Yeah.
He lives in Etobicoke ways, like around near Lakeshore.
Yeah, it's a really interesting trend, man. Like I was curious and I did a little more digging, and it's just like it's a trend you see like any place that's like downtown-ish or even downtown east, they'll all tell you the same thing. Like people are just fucking off, man. And they're like, you know what? I'm working from home. I don't need to live downtown. I'll go live somewhere cheaper. Right?
Yeah.
So like that's causing this like exodus and there's and it's crazy because it's like it's come right after an explosion of construction of more units in the core. So it's like I don't know, that could be the beginning of something good, because if there's still a skyrocketing supply, then I guess I'm not an economics major, but I figure the demand will go down as well, and the price will go down.
Yeah. The thing is, like, people want to get the most for their money, for their, bang for their buck or whatever, right? So if you're, like, just going somewhere and it's so expensive, why would you just stay there if you can go somewhere else cheaper and still be in the same area or you can get there in some way, right? So it's kind of like, why, like, and not just that, like you said, downtown kind of rowdy, kind of quiet, like it kind of messed up with the noise and stuff like that. Crazy stuff happens, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just a good place to visit, but not to actually live. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if you guys noticed that there's so much condos now, like everywhere. They're just tearing down places to build up condos. Like it's like I don't know what's going on. Like they tore down half of the entertainment district to build condos. We used to have like more down there, you know what I mean? Like in terms of like things to before all this COVID stuff, like more bars, more restaurants, more places to see. Now it's just like they have it still, but it's like half of it is condos too, So it's I don't know if that's a good thing.
I mean, I maybe I'm an optimist, but I think it could be good because like I can see it closing the gap between apartment and condo living, right?
True.
Because I find that the condo market is a lot more fluid. It adapts, like if you see not only what's for rent or for sale, if you can see like past sales, price goes down, somebody like snags it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in that sense, it may end up being only a couple $100s that can be the difference between like, living in kind of a rough area, or like your apartment's like not that kind of whatever, versus like living in a housing situation that may be a little more comfortable. Like even the place I went to review, that balcony was fucking massive. It was like the length of the entire unit.
Wow.
Like I could put a freaking brick wall in the balcony and set up another room.
So that means we could have thrown a function there.
That, you know what? That's actually what I was thinking. Like if we can just get enough people that are like interested in that, like, get along, it'd be a hell of a lot cheaper to get a nice place, 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Because like I'm looking at the market, even for like the general Toronto area, 1,200 gets you a bachelor. Like,
wow.
Low floor, ground level, that's what it gets you.
Damn. Wow. And another thing as well that I was thinking of is kind of like, are you like, what are your guys like ideal places to live? Like, do you guys see yourself long term like in a condo or apartment, or would you guys like eventually a home? Because everyone has a different opinion on that,
I guess
I'm pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever comes, right?
Whatever comes. Like if like my plan is to eventually end up somewhere on Bridal Path. I guess what I'm working towards right now.
I like that idea.
You gotta shoot for the stars, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I'm open. Like as long as it's like a pretty decent neighborhood that I could commute to work. Well, hopefully I won't be working for too long. So as long as it's a nice, comfortable neighborhood and I'll be able to get the stuff, I'm open with that.
And you, Vic?
Like what are my prospects for housing?
No, like could you see yourself in like a condo or apartment long term, or would you want a home one day?
I would like a home. Because like, I don't know, man. I've lived both sides. I've lived in a condo, I've lived in an apartment, and I figure at this point when I do move, it'll probably be back in an apartment, just to save up more. Because like, I think the best thing to do is the same price of buying a condo or setting up a lease for a condo. You might as well tie yourself into a mortgage in a home that's like a half hour or 45 minutes away from the city.
Yeah. I guess my plan would be to like just get something that has, whether it's a condo or home eventually, that has a lot of value. It's like it has a high value, and I could pass it along to family members, or if I need to sell it one day, it's worth a lot and I could get a good profit from it. You know what I mean? So whether that's wherever that is, in a good area or something, like, I guess that would be my...
You know what? I think it's like, if you're looking at like a short-term, like 5-year investment type of thing where you have that time to save up, I would say think about like the Portlands. Like they're just in like the next phase of development there.
Yeah.
They're setting up condos. They fixed up a lot of like the roads and shit. They put this nice bridge. So I think that's going to be the new up-and-coming neighborhood.
The Portlands.
Where's that located? Where is that?
It's like Lakeshore East.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got
Like,
you.
yeah.
So yeah, you see, Maurice, you got like some ideas, man. If you want to go condo hunting, we can help you, man. So at 6ixhappening, we help people, man.
Give me 6 more months.
See, you're already going with us, right? 6 months, 6ixhappening. It's already good.
There's a commercial right
You see? So just here to end off a bit, Maurice, I wanted to ask you, man. We don't really know too much about like how you what you do like for your job, for your work. Like before, I remember you were working in a hospital, or I know you told me once it was like a parole thing. What is your job, and do you like it? How is it? That's what I want to know. The audience wants to know.
Okay, you know what? I love my job. I work for the Ministry of Health, and I'm usually placed in different settings throughout the city. So, like right now, things are a little different with what's happening with COVID and things being shut down. So, prior to like COVID shutting down, I was working at Old City Hall and College Park. and also working with the Toronto Police. And a lot of like what I do is I work with people that come in contact some sort of conflict with the law. So it could be like basic arrest for theft, for minor assaults, and I get them connected to services in the community. So I work as a case manager basically.
Okay.
I will get them connected to services, like whether that be like counseling, a psychiatrist.
That's good. So you're like a referral.
Getting them, kind of, yeah, and getting them a lawyer. Like if it's like a housing situation, then just making sure that they have all their paperwork completed and kind of helping them with appeals and stuff like that.
Did you used to work at a hospital? Because I think I remember that.
So I worked at St. Michael's Hospital about 5 years ago, and I was working in the emergency department, like working with people that have had suicide attempts and they needed to. So it was basically the same thing. So people that had either an attempt or they had contemplated suicide, and just basically working with them and getting them reintegrated back into the community, figuring out like what led them to coming into hospital, what triggered the feeling. So it's pretty much the same thing, getting them connected to counseling, just working with them on triggers, and like probably like figuring out how I can support them through
pretty much helping them reintegrate into life.
And just basically reintegrating back into the community. Yeah, so pretty much.
Because I remember when I was talking to you, like I don't know when it was, like too long, like you were telling me like, man, I'm working a lot, like long hour days, and I'm like with this hospital and with the COVID. Like, were you ever like, would you ever consider yourself, or were you ever like on the front lines with this COVID, or were you like, did you feel like you were at risk, or what did you think?
So I think it was probably the beginning of the pandemic in April. I was working at a COVID negatives hotel.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So we were working with people that were suspected of having COVID, and after testing, so it was basically working with people that were tested and were negative, but they had to stay somewhere for 20 days or for 14 days during quarantine. So it was just basically doing the same thing, getting them connected to services, figuring out like what their housing situation was like, and getting them into temporary shelter after they left the program.
Wow.
Yeah, so we definitely came in contact with people that were suspected of having COVID, but no one I believe I worked with was positive.
And did you always feel safe, like or protected?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like PPE all around, and we had a lot of training too. So we're wearing gowns, masks, and face shields, and practicing social distancing. And then a lot of the work that I did with people in the hotel was like over the phone, and if I did come in contact with them, we would try to either meet outside or meet them outside of their room. So yeah, we definitely tried to do things in a safe way.
That's great, man. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay though, man, and you're safe, because I know it was probably stressful doing all that,
Oh, most definitely.
Dealing with that.
Yeah, most definitely, because I think in the early days of the pandemic, no one really knew how people got it, and how
airborne.
like how it affected the immune system and all of that stuff. So yeah, in the beginning it was really stressful.
People are still confused now if you have to be 6 feet or more. You know what I mean?
What the fuck?
That's why they we for a time in my store where I work, we were doing limiting the amount of people that could be in there, but now it's just everyone's in there now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I don't know I don't know if that's good.
Yeah, it's changing a lot. Like I know at Walmart they used to have lineups, and now I don't see the lineups really happening anymore, and the stores are more packed when I drive by. So that's why I just kind of stick to my morning timeline.
Excellent.
Oh yeah. But something that really caught my attention was Maurice. I don't know, I'd love to have another chat with you sometime so we can talk programming, because just from what I've heard, I guess from your general CV, it's fucking sick work, man. You're killing it out there. You're doing awesome work. Dude, That's something that I've been fucking striving to do, man. Because like I've been doing my best, but it's just like I feel like there's only so much that I can do, or there's like this soft ceiling when it comes to like the housing help sector, right? Like I'm doing social work, I'm helping people out, but like every time I hear what you're doing, it's just like I would love to do that, right? So right now I'm kind of picking the brain of like CBT and DBT facilitators just so I can like set up a program or a network and have somebody come in and just like chat with some of the clients, right?
Yeah, that would really be helpful because what's happening right now is that a lot of those programs that were like easy to not only find online, it would be easy to get referred to these programs, but now with all of the restrictions and that one-on-one kind of factor is kind of gone with a lot of people, where a lot of people have anxiety issues and they don't want to be in a big group, so it's kind of tough to please everyone. But yeah, like I miss being out there and meeting with people face to face. It's kind of tough. I know you mentioned like doing social work is. Do you feel that it's not as glorious as what I'm doing? But I think it is, man. Like you're getting a lot of work done with people and you're able to get them connected to services like I do, but think that right now with this pandemic happening, it's going to be a lot tougher for me to get things done with people because talking on the phone and trying to convince someone to go into a detox program is a lot harder than being in front of them and bringing them to a detox program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can only go so far with persuasion on the phone.
Exactly.
Then after a while, you sound like it's a sales pitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was honestly even considering like going to like AliExpress and getting like a discounted tablet and donating it so they can start doing virtual programming.
Yeah, but I think you should continue building that hub that you're kind of working on right now because it will definitely be helpful down the line.
Yeah, because like it's a bit of a challenge, but I have some other ideas set up for like when I come back. But I just need to see like what's in front of my face in terms of like the field I have to work with, right? Because I've been pretty much sheltered from all of COVID.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned, the whole housing sector is like over flooded right now, and it's so difficult to understand what's happening because some shelters have hotels that they have like 30, 40 units in, but they're always full, and then people that are like sleeping in parks right now that are trying to get into these programs have to call at a certain time of the day to get into them, so it's really frustrating. And then with housing units, with Toronto Community Housing, it's really tough to get into these housing units. You have to be on a list for like 9 to 12 years to get a one-bedroom apartment.
That's horrible.
It's difficult to get priority housing, and then there's like all these criterias.
Oh yeah, like just to briefly touch on that, I'll tell you something. It reminded me of I'm not gonna give any names, but like a case that I was working on where it was very similar. There's a guy, he's just down on his luck, and he needed help being set up. Like he was already a citizen, he had his SIM card and everything, but yeah, he just needed help getting set up with stuff like that. And apparently, just it's a little technicality they have, but you can get bumped a lot higher on that priority list. They're like, okay, but you need to stay at least 6 months in a shelter. And it just makes me think, wait, what? Hold on a second. So you're forcing them to stay in a shelter for 6 months. It's I don't know. What do you guys think? Right? Like six months in a shelter versus 9 years on a wait list. It's like
it's very frustrating. I had that conversation actually on Friday with a client that got kicked out of Fort York, and that's a pretty good program. And he right now is like sleeping in a park, and he wants to find an apartment and thought that he could work with a housing worker and getting on on some sort of subsidized list, and I explained to him that if he wants to be eligible for any type of subsidy, he has to stay in the system because it's necessary for him to be tracked during the 6-month period of him being in the system for him to be able to be bumped up or qualify for a subsidy. And that's ridiculous because like he's gotten beaten up before in the past, and he's also had like situations like where he felt like he was discriminated against, and and it's just really triggering for him to be in a situation where he's surrounded by so many people. So it's tough for him. So he has to either wait for a hotel program or he has to like sleep outside for a couple of days, but he cannot be outside for more than I think a month, I believe, because then that gets him out of the 6 months, because I think it has to be a consistent 6 months, and then they'll give you like leeway if you're trying to find a place within a month or a couple of weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the problem as well is just like that. From everything you guys are talking about, it's just that like a lot of these people, like they don't have the same opportunities as others, or they didn't back in the day, right? So now they have to wait for others for it kind of to open up for them, you know? And it's kind of like they don't talk about a lot of these people are oppressed, not just from people, but from the system, you know what I mean? Like they're marginalized from the system. So because of that, they're already at a disadvantage, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
I can definitely
they have to rely on you to help them like that, because there's no other options for them, you know, and it's kind of sad. But I agree with Victor, though, man. Like, honestly, you're doing a great job. You're doing a good works, man. It feels like it's very rewarding and fulfilling. I imagine it must be, right? For you?
Yeah, like, even just on that point you made, like...
man. Keep it up, bro. You're adding to the society, making Toronto great, you know?
It's so true. There's, like...
Again, but then it sounds like that slogan in the States, right? So... I don't want to sound like that, so...
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say, like, there's a really interesting point you said, and you know what? It's actually backed by science and studies. Statistics show that general health increases as soon as people leave the housing system. The emergency housing system, many, if not all aspects of their general health profile increase. Mental health, physical health, all that stuff. Because it's just like, it's stressful, and it's just like you don't know what to do. Like, for example... A little story. I was making a call to EI because I figured, you know what? I'm on leave. I need a supplement, right? I'm gonna go through the process. I waited 4 hours to get my report in, right? Because I tried to do it online, and they were like, "Oh, well, you need to call the number. There's a discrepancy, and we've deactivated your account." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's dandy." So I wait an hour and 10 minutes on the phone for an agent. I get them. They take more than 2 hours to go through the protocol, go through the procedure, and the whole time like, "Oh, you know, I'm very new. I'm like, I don't care. I was like, for every time I got on hold, it turned into a game. At first I would just look at YouTube, whatever, and then I'm just like, okay, let's spice this up, right? So what I did was I got a tablet. I would put like a little bit of like soft porn on loudspeaker.
Yes, I love that.
To see how long it would take. And it was just a game. Like, you know, I have to fucking mute it, turn it off, whatever. Whenever they come back, it's like, oh wait, I just remembered one thing. Oh yes, I was like, shit, man, might as well have fun, because it's like the thought of, you know, perhaps the system is set up like this on purpose to deter people from using it. I was like, you know what? Fuck all that noise. I'm gonna have fun with this.
Yeah. I mean, in general, things are kind of like that. Like, if you're calling something or if you're trying to get some kind of service, it's very frustrating, right? Like, it takes long. Everything takes long. I remember waiting, even calling the bank. I actually, I'll say it briefly. A situation happened to me where I lost money last month. And I had to call my bank. I got scammed, right? So I was calling. I had to wait a month for them to put the money back in my account. And every time I called, I'd be on the phone for 45 minutes, an hour, and no one would call me back. So sometimes things are very frustrating. You know how it works.
Yep.
But, and all they kept telling me was, oh yeah, you know what? It's a busy time of year, and you gotta, it's sorry, this is near the holidays. It's COVID and everything is going wrong.
I don't care about that.
Exactly. I want my money, right?
Yeah.
It's not my fault I got scammed. But no. Anyways, thanks Maurice for coming on.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have you back, man. It was a very insightful and interesting conversation, and you're always welcome. You know what I mean?
All right, man.
Victor, do you have anything else to add?
Yo, I was just gonna say, man, don't be shy. Hit me up. I'd love to have more chats with you, man. It's really nice to just chill and like shoot the shit sometimes,
I definitely will, man. Sounds good.
All
Become
right.
an Oshawan, okay? You're still from Toronto. Don't forget that.
Our friendly neighborhood Oshawan out here.
All right, man.
All right, guys. Signing off for now. Until next time.
All right, man.
Take it
Later.